watch this, then let's have a conversation.
Do you guys know the number one outcome or the number one indicator for how children grow up to thrive, whether or not they actually do?
I thought it was the daddy in the house.
Absolutely not. Believe it or not, it is the quality of their mother's happiness.
Wow.
Damn. The quality of their mother's happiness is the number one indicator as to whether or not a child will grow up to thrive. Because if you have a depressed mother, if you have an anxious mother, if you have a mother with post-traumatic stress disorder who is having to disconnect from her own body, she cannot show up to nurture you. She cannot show up to support you. She cannot fully step into that space. And what she will teach you about being in relationships with other people, whether you can trust them, whether you can trust yourself, whether you can actually be committed and connected to somebody and know that they will reciprocate that to you in a healthy way. She teaches you that not through her words, but through her actions.
Did you know that there's actually a study about this? And I found it, and we're going to go through it together. Hi, my name is Shayna Conde. I talk a lot about being child-free, decentering men, all these great things, and I'm a journalist on top of it. So let's dive into this. And oh my gosh, if you're interested in this kind of thing, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff, tippity type your thoughts away in the comments. And if any of this like super resonates, please share a super thanks. Like, that'd be fantastic. Oh yeah, and I'm doing like membership stuff. Now let's dive in. This font is so small and I'm so old. All right, so this is a study. It's called Happy Mother, Successful Children, Effects of Maternal Satisfaction on Children Outcome. And it's by a man. So please don't just think, like, for all the men that like to go Mwah! In the comment section, one of y'all wrote this. Okay, now let's dive in. In this section, it starts, there's going to be 3 parts of this that I'm going to share. This is the shortest one. The quality of the interaction between mother and child is also pivotal to early child development. A happier mother is expected to be more responsive and sensitive towards her child's needs. It is very well documented that mothers are the emotional center of the home. Mother wounds do so much damage. Yes, father wounds do too, but mother wounds arguably do so much more damage because mothers, whether you want to be or not, unfortunately for like the moms that aren't quite able to like tap into this, how you emotionally regulate yourself teaches emotional regulation to your child. Your feelings are your child's feelings. You teach them all feelings. And so the happier that a mom is, the more she's able to tap into her emotional center and be responsive to it and sensitive to her own, and so be able to see what is going on emotionally in her child. And so to like tap into those needs directly and effectively with gentleness and joy. Let us continue on. Similarly, the quality of spousal relationship determines the degree of child exposure to non-constructive familial environment. Just by observing how parents interact with each other, children learn behaviors like communication, resolving disputes, and showing respect. A happier mother within a given marital status is more likely to resolve disputes in a more constructive way, and the child benefits directly from observing the maternal behavior. Respectively, a lower marital satisfaction, there will be a higher tension between parents with deleterious effects on child outcomes due to the prevalence of a destructive environment. Overall, maternal satisfaction will benefit child development because a more satisfied mother will have a more positive outlook on life. That says a lot. One big thing to take away is it's not just a happy mom. Like a mom can be happy on her own, but if a happy mom is in an unhappy home, that is also an issue for the child. That also like it confuses the child emotionally because the child is watching mom navigate a series of events, conversations in a way that is not constructive. So there's all of the people that are like, oh, well, like, I think that I should stay with him. I think that I should, like, I don't want my child to be, like, by themselves. I don't want, like, I don't want to break up the house. You could be causing more damage to your child by staying with this person than you would have if you were on your own. Now, there's another part of this essay where they talk about the difference between like single moms versus married moms versus divorced moms versus whatever, right? And they say a lot of things, but at the end of it, they say that it's kind of inconclusive whether like which kind of mom is happier, because there's so many different variables that go into each of those situations at the end of the day. Basically, this is not a blanket statement that one situation makes a mom happier. No, no, no. So now let's move on. This is the tour de force. The tour de France. Tour de force. Okay. And these are the concluding remarks. So there's a whole bunch of other words that go up there, 28 pages at that point, but here we are. I identify 3 key results. 1, first, a separate happiness and marriage effect exist, and they significantly affect child skill formation. What does that mean? Happiness and marriage effect. That means that happiness and marriage don't necessarily go hand in hand. Those are 2 separate things. You can be happy and you can be, I'm not gonna flip you off. You could be happy and you could be married. Now you could be happy and married, but they don't have to sit together. All right? Okay, moving on. There is robust evidence that happiness increases social and self-regulation skills and decreases emotional problems, effects that are equivalent to increases up to 50,000 pounds in family income. A happy mom increases the amount of money within a family by 50 pounds. In not the United States, clearly. These are for London families and people over there. Marriage is beneficial for reducing conduct problems and increasing cognitive test scores, while it decreases self-regulation skills. Did you know that? With the exception of self-regulation skills, I find significant asymmetry between marriage and marital life satisfaction, because certain skills that can be directly affected by happiness, they cannot be affected by marriage and vice versa. Not marital, maternal, my bad. Basically, what this is saying is that the creator of the study found that there is asymmetry. This is not a one-to-one between marital, like marriage kind of self satisfaction, and maternal satisfaction. It is not a one-to-one, that if you are a happy mom, that you are a happy wife, or if you are a happy wife, you are a happy mom. It is not one-to-one, because some of the things that, mind you, this varies from household to household, is what this person is saying, is that some of the skills that are needed to create a marriage that is that makes somebody happy is not necessarily the skills that are needed to produce a happy mom. There are a lot of people out there that say, oh yeah, like I've been married. I'm married. Obviously, I know how to parent kids. I know how to be a happy mom. Not necessarily the case. And there are a lot of people who have never been married that have all of the skills to be happy moms. This is what it's not one-to-one. It's not you do one, obviously you have the skills of the other. No. Given this finding, I conclude that both happiness and marriage are significant for childhood development, and that the marriage effect does not reflect a happiness effect. Second, the maternal happiness effects are more profound at early development stages, age 3. Third, paternal life satisfaction does not significantly contribute to child skill formation, but paternal presence is beneficial to child development due to increased discipline and supervision. Now, couple things to make note here. It says that both happiness and marriage are significant for early childhood development. That does not necessarily mean that it is a significantly good thing. It just means that the effects of those things are significant to the child when it comes to early childhood development. So a happy marriage is significant, and a bad marriage between the parents is also significant. And what I'm gathering from that last bit of that sentence, and that the marriage effect does not reflect a happiness effect, you don't have to be married with child in order to be happy with child as a woman. The quality of your happiness is not directly associated to the quality of the marriage or partnership or whatever. And that means so for the woman or like femme person involved, but also for the child, because that is a one-to-one relationship. The maternal happiness and the child's developmental skills. Secondly, when it talks about maternal happiness effects being more pronounced by the age of 3, like early child developmental stages, there's a documentary that's called Babies on Netflix. And I think that everybody should watch that, whether you want kids or not. It teaches you so much about how we become the people that we are today, and how so much of that is already locked in before we were born. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. And then by the time we get here, it's really just like literally us stretching our muscles. And like, yeah, there's like some nurture involved, but there's a lot of nature there. Also, during this time period, brain function, it booms. It's faster. The human brain works faster during that time period than it does. Like neurons are connecting and like everything is firing off more so during that time period than during any other time in our lives. So the fact that maternal happiness is the most pronounced during this time, and as it relates to early childhood development, it literally is brain food. Maternal happiness is brain food to the developing brain. And then the last one, paternal satisfaction does not significantly contribute to child skill formation. Listen, yeah, dad can be happy. That's cute. That's cool. That's whatever. When it comes to childhood brain development, it is necessary for mom to be happy. And sure, like it is beneficial when it comes to increased discipline and supervision. But then this leads back to another video that I have where I talk about, do men actually know how to discipline with love? The conclusion is that most don't, because in order to discipline with a sense of gentleness, with a sense of awareness, with a sense of emotional regulation, that implies a level of emotional self-awareness. That implies your own self to be emotionally regulated, so that way you don't explode on a child because, oh, I'm just giving discipline. No, you are abusing that child. No, you are abusing your sense of power over that child. And supervision, the amount of men supervising children. Mind you, this is not to say that it's all of them. Is this to say that it's most of them? Yes, absolutely. I need more men in general to actively supervise. Like, to supervise means to be present. And yes, there are some fathers out there that are actively supervising their children. But with the creation of iPad kids, like, let's all be for real. Yes, discipline, structure, these are all things that we associate with like a masculine kind of energy, but more so than the latter, more people are coming out and just being like, hey, listen, real talk, the most effective forms of discipline that I received were from the women in my life growing up. And that's not to say that it's perfect. There's a lot of broken people out there. But when it comes to most effective, it's like in an ideal world, this would be true. In an ideal world, in an ideal parenting situation, this would be true. I know very, very, very few people, like heterosexual, like couplings, where this stands. It happens, but it's just very few. So those are my thoughts. I am so sorry. Reading was a little hard today. We made it through though. We made it through. If you have any comments, oh my gosh, I keep saying like, share, subscribe. That's kooky. If you have any comments, feel free to type them away in the comment section. I'm curious what you guys' thoughts are on this. Because for me it gives. Now I am going to go rest my eyes, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.